You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's peeps, welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over Metagross VMAX, something that I didn't necessarily think that we were going to be covering today, but Grant Manley was able to top 450 person tournament, and my teammate Cal Connor from the Shuffle Squad was able to win the late number 16 with the deck. So it's one of those things where I gotta cover it, right? We're gonna jump into the deck list, explain how it works, and I'm gonna jump into a little bit of gameplay. The list is in the description. You can copy and paste it right into PTCGO. And yeah, let's go jump into that deck profile. So here you have it, Metagross VMAX. Now, Metagross VMAX might not seem like much. Metagross V isn't really putting in too much work, but the VMAX does have some redeeming qualities for it. So it has a large amount of HP, which is really good for a deck like this. We'll explain that in 1 second. You can search your deck for any 2 cards, put them into your hand, and then you got Max Rush that does 100, and then next turn the Max Rush does 150. So this has a similar vibe to Victini VMAX. I have covered Metagross VMAX about 6 months ago off the top of my head, but this is a new take, and I don't necessarily know if the origin's 100% from Grant Manley, but I do know that they're the person that's seen the most success with this deck. There's actually Cal Connor's list that took that success from Grant and tuned it up a little bit, so shout out to them as well. So the whole goal of this deck is to kind of be an attacking control deck, kind of similar to Ston Journer or any kind of other like Duraludon vibes. So you have Crystal Caves, you have Pokemon Center Lady, you have Full Face Guard, a card that you often don't see, so reducing damage, healing damage special conditions, and you could heal everything if you really need to. So you want to be able to tank hits because nothing should really be able to knock you out as long as you're not playing against fire, and you're like, okay, do I go Zap Traction and try to run things out? You can often sacrifice a Metagross VMAX if you need to, in any kind of situation, to have another one that's going to go a little bit further. So it's a combination of healing strategically versus attacking Pokemon and using boss's orders to maybe run your opponent out of resources with Flannery. You can always get everything you want with Adventurous Discovery. I mean, the deck's interesting enough where I think it has some decent matchups, and I think a lot of players right now might not necessarily know how to play against this deck. If you are looking to pick up any of the cards for this deck, I mean, this deck's a little bit on the cheaper side. You can go to PTCGOstore.com, plug in code ZLesage5 to save 5% off your order. If you are looking to grow as a player overall, you can hit me up on metafy.gg/@ZachLesage. That link is in the description, so I can definitely help you to get where you want to go, especially with in real life events coming back. Anyways, let's jump into some gameplay. I'm not sure if we're going to get 1 or 2 games out here, but I do really want to display how this strategy can work. So we won the coin flip. I think we want to go first so we can get Metagross off as early as turn 2. We got to start off with something, right? And our whole goal is to maybe just evolve and use the attack to search through some stuff. Right now this hand's not looking great, but if we top deck into a Metagross VMAX, we should be chilling. Now, I am going to go ahead and get another one of these out here. When it comes down to it, I think we're probably playing against some kind of Turbo Zacian deck. I'm going to go ahead and discard this Metal Energy. It's a little bit tough. If I'm playing against Turbo Zacian, I might just discard the Crystal Cave, actually. I think this is probably a Zacian deck. It might be my wrong call. So I know that we prize a Metagross. I know that we prized a VMAX. We prized an Evolution Incense. We did not prize any adventures. We prized 2 adventures discovery. So I mean, we're going to be running a little bit low on options to be getting the Metagross VMAX, but that's okay. Let's build up an energy and see how next turn goes. I mean, when it comes to a deck that only plays 4 Pokemon that are basics and 4 evolution Pokemon, you might just struggle. Now, if they don't have anything, we might be able to go turn 2 Synchro Hammer, and that's a real possibility. Just knocking your opponent out sounds really cool, if you ask me. So, like I said, we'll see how it works, but don't necessarily let a hand like this get you down because we are 1 card away from having our full strategy. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. And if we struggle for a few turns, remember we are in here for the long game when it comes to boss's orders and Pokemon Center Lady. Oh, our opponent's playing Houndour, something I would have never expected. Maybe the Crystal Cave would have been a little bit better considering I thought I was playing against a metal deck that might have also played those. So with our opponent playing Capture Energy, are they playing like Seviper? I honestly can't tell which kind of single strike Pokemon. Okay, more Pekko. Morpeko should not be able to knock us out, fingers crossed, and we might be able to take them down with Synchro Hammers, so we're going to try our best to try to stay afloat as long as possible. Sometimes you're put into weird situations when it comes to playing the Pokemon TCG, and I really can't, like, I don't want you to ever, like, take that and just be like, okay, I'm going to concede. Even if you do lose the game, I found myself playing differently in some endgame scenarios and learning a lot of mechanics on, well, how do I survive an extra turn? How do I survive an extra 2 turns? Can I change the fate of this game? I think there's a lot of cool things that you can do when it comes down to it. So staying in games will give you new ideas when it comes to exploring other games. I've been able to navigate games because I've probably lost thousands of times in my life. So, I mean, Flannery is not bad. That will discard a special energy from our opponent's Pokemon. I don't necessarily know if I care about that. I think we just might want to go for Synchro Hammer when it comes down to it. Now, our opponent probably can't do too much. We might just want to go Boss's Orders, isolate the Houndour with the Air Balloon, just because. I mean, maybe the Air Balloon doesn't matter because this one would have had free retreats. I'm trying to debate on which one would be better. We have a free retreat for the rest of the game. We're probably going to be getting some knockouts, or we have the one with an energy on it already. Let's just take away their energies. I think that sounds like a pretty cool plan. We could always Tool Scrapper later. We are going to go after the Pokemon that sets up these Pokemon because how they work, they need to get the damage on with Single Strike Roar. So we are going to go ahead here and go for Synchro Hammer. So really not a great start from us. But since we do have Metagross and Adventures Discoveries prized, and we did check through our prize cards, we do have an enhanced chance of getting them. And I mean, there you go. There's the Metagross VMAX. So I think we're in an okay spot as long as we can start surviving these attacks. And we'll really start playing it out as some kind of attacking control. So you're going to be using Zap Traction the turns where you need to gather cards. Obviously, that makes sense. But you have to understand like what cards you need at any given time. Maybe you need a boss for the next turn. Of course, Marnie is a thing. Late game, you just kind of gotta truck through, but it's one of those things. Am I getting knocked out next turn? Okay, can I use Flannery to remove their energy? Can I use Boss's Orders to bring something up? Can I use Pokemon Center Lady to heal? Or do I need to fully heal with Cheryl and then use Zap Traction again? Keep this in mind as you're playing through the game, because it really could matter. Because here our opponent's only going to be hitting us for a little bit of damage. We could probably just go Pokemon Center Lady and vibe out completely, put our opponent in a really tough situation. So that means we don't necessarily need to be playing Flannery. This is a matchup where Flannery is not going to matter too much because of Urn of Vitality. So look at all your surroundings when you're playing a deck like this. It really could help you out. I mean, we're playing against Morpeko, not necessarily the most competitive deck, but we are able to navigate however we like. So there's 80 damage. That's really not too bad. That does mean that we could fully heal everything off this turn. So let's go ahead and just do that. I think that sounds great. So we're going to go Pokemon Center Lady, heal 60 damage. We're going to go Crystal Cave. So our opponent's last turn was basically wasted. Part of me wants to keep this metal energy in my hand, just because I'm not sure what's going to be going on with this Metagross V. Now, that being said, we are going to go ahead and go with Max Rush, doing 100. The reason why I'm keeping that metal energy in my hand is if I ever top deck a Cheryl or have to play a Cheryl, I might want to attach the energy to go Zap Traction. So there's an Evolution Incense. We're now vibing with this other Metagross V. And if worst comes to worst, we just need an energy to attach to evolve this one so it can max traction as well. So far we have a pretty ideal setup. We got out of a really bad spot, and I think we're kind of making our way back into this game. So our opponent can only, I believe, hit for 100, and how much damage is it? Is it 180? Right now they do 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 120, 160, sorry, 160. So they're not necessarily one-shotting us. It would be nice if we could heal. We don't necessarily have a whole bunch. Zap Traction would be great, but we can knock them out, and we will take 3 prize cards on our opponent. This is probably the one that we want to stay alive for the rest of the game. And they will be losing the 2 energies per turn. They're already down at least 1 Urn of Vitality. They might have some struggle points if they aren't able to get another urn going back. So there's their quick ball. I mean, I guess they're all ready to go. We can also heal. 160 plus 160 is 320. I don't think they're even knocking us out, so they might struggle there. I don't know if Stonjourner is going to help them at all either. So there's Explosive Discontent. If we top deck a healing card, that'd be amazing. You get Pokégear, so you want to know what? We're going to go Evolution Incense first. The reason why is because we want to grab out the Metagross. That will give us an enhanced chance of getting a supporter from the Pokégear. So let's go ahead, grab this, and we are going to play the Pokégear now to see what we can grab. Oh, it's tough. I mean, I think at this point I'm fine with going Marnie because I know our hand is not great. Our opponent only has 2 cards in their hand, but it's really one of those things where I know we're chilling there. We can now attach the energy here. I feel okay with that because we are playing a Marnie. We will have a refresh hand. And I'll use Crystal Cave at the end of the turn. I don't think there's any reason for me to do it beforehand. But at the same time, we'll have to see how it plays out. So Crystal Cave, do that. Full face guard. And I'm okay sacrificing this one because it's already done its job of drawing 3 prize cards, right? Like, you got to look at it. If your Pokemon is worth 3 prize cards, that's how much prize cards you should expect back. If you're attacking with 3 prize card Pokemon and it gets OHKO'd right back, you're probably struggling in that game. So the fact that we took 3 1 prize card knockouts is huge, and especially if they miss the knockout. Because with full face guard, I know it's a little gold and it might be a little bit blurry on your screen. If this Pokemon this card is attached to has no abilities, which I do not, I take 20 less damage from attacks. If their main attack is doing 160 damage, they're now doing 140, which puts me at 270, which means I have more opportunities to heal. I think there's cool things that you can add into this deck, like Crushing Hammer, Lucky Ice Pop, maybe anything else along those lines. So you might want to be playing supporter and some kind of heal card, but right now I think we're relatively vibing. And if we could just make it past the next couple turns, I think we're going to take kind of a clear game. This is the same thing as Mew VMAX. If Mew VMAX cannot OHKO you, you can heal every single turn and eventually remove their energies. You have Pal Pad to get those things back. So even though we are playing against a more Pekko deck, they are doing a similar damage output to consider to other decks that are relevant. So I think we are getting the correct strategy off this game. That's something that I always like showing, more than just playing a game against a matchup that's like kind of unneedless. I want you to kind of have an idea of how the deck works, then you can go out and play it on your own. I know there's probably some people in the comments that are like, why did you not play against Single Strike? Why did you not play against this? As long as they can't OHKO you, you're usually chilling. So this is going to actually end up taking a 4th prize card, which is huge. I wouldn't mind just taking the Tool Scrapper off of these Pokemon. I think that, or the air balloons, I should say, off of those Pokemon, that should be pretty cool. We don't want to put this down. We want to be able to knock out this Pokemon. I mean, we could knock out their Houndoom. They've already put down another Houndour, but I think if we take their energies off the board and stop them from attacking, we're chilling. We are going to pitch this away because we don't necessarily want to be drawing into our other Metagross. Like, we have all 6 of our prize cards on board. Let's go ahead and play the Marnie. So we can kind of take their big hand, put it away, see what we can get going on with this hand. And like I said, you can sacrifice one of these Metagross if you're feeling good about it, right? So they might not even be able to knock us out because we are putting an immense amount of pressure on them. We have another one ready to go. So if they can't one-shot this one the turn after, I think we win the game. So let's go Max Rush, putting ourselves down to 2 prize cards remaining. Our opponent is going to be down a whole bunch of single strike energies. Let's see how it plays out. I mean, so far, so good. Their Pokemon have a low amount of HP, so we could just continuously Max Rush. Very similar strategy to Victini VMAX when it comes down to it. So maybe Metagross will have the same success level. My thought process is this deck's going to spike up the next couple days, and then it might fall down eventually the same way that that other decks have. They just kind of are flash in the pan, anything else like that. So we'll have to see how Metagross continues to go. But I think a lot of players are going to be wanting to be playing this deck this week. That's usually how PTCGO ripples. So if you're wondering why you're seeing more Metagross on the ladder in tournaments, this is why. You can thank Grant and Cal and anyone else involved in the making. I try to always promote the deck builders. If you are the person that came up with Metagross, or if you do know the source, let me know in the comments below. I do try to credit every single person as much as possible. It is very hard in this age of the Pokemon TCG internet, but as far as I can tell, it's a Grant and Cal kind of thing. So we have how much HP? We have 90 remaining HP, but they have to do 110. Okay, so we're gonna get knocked out by Giga Hammer. That's totally valid. So they knock us out, we go ahead and knock out their Stonjourner because 100 plus the 40 damage that they take from the single strike roar. And if they cannot hit us for 330 damage, which I do not think their deck can, we should be able to win this game. If you can't OHKO a Metagross, again, Metagross is probably taking an advantage here and just taking more turns left in the game. And you got Pal Pad to continuously get stuff back, and you can just go Zap Traction and see exactly how it goes. I think it's going to be tough for a lot of players. So overall, I think we're chilling. This removes a special energy and a stadium. Yeah, we don't really care about removing the stadium, but we might want to play the Pokégear to maybe get a Marnie. That might be cool. Don't want to attach another energy. I don't think that's worthwhile. We'd actually use the Flannery first. I might go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and pitch the Flannery, get a couple cards. My hand seems pretty good, and I know that our cards are at the bottom. So let's go ahead and Pokégear here. We are going to go ahead, grab Marnie, and that's going to take our opponent's large hand away. Again, we are disrupting our opponent with that. Now, if it comes to putting anything back into our deck, I mean, we always could have used Pal Pad first. That might have been a little bit better, but we're going to go ahead and Marnie here nonetheless. And see, I think we're putting ourselves into a game-winning situation. Yeah, we didn't get the full face guard, but that's okay. As long as our opponent does not hit 330 or more, I think we win the game. So let's go ahead, Max Rush, knock out this Pokemon, and we're down to 1 prize card remaining. So all of our healing and their low damage output and our continuous attacks really putting us in the lead. Again, it might not necessarily look like it as much this game, but we have put an immense amount of pressure on our opponent's Pokemon. Even that early boss's order set them back a little bit. Think about the things that you could do in every single game and the cards you can choose. And again, most other games, Zap Traction will have a huge aspect or a huge kind of vibe in the deck. This is one of those cases where you have to roll with it the other way, but consider that Zap Traction, Cheryl, every single turn you can just kind of hold on to your energies and all that kind of good stuff. I think if our opponent plays Karen's Conviction, we might actually be in a really rough spot. We'll have to see. I think 20 times 5, I think we're still safe. I could be wrong. They have to play a single strike supporter card from their hands. There's Karen's Conviction. 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So they did 320, 10 damage short, and we will be able to take the game. So let's go ahead. Well played, Max Rush. Even like with the Karen's Conviction, they're still short. A lot of HP will certainly do that for you. Metagross is an absolute tank. That's what we got going on for this video today. I was debating showing another game where we were able to use the Max Traction to search our deck for a few cards. It's one of those things where I was like, I properly navigated through every single situation, and Max Traction is just navigating through every single situation. If you need to heal, you need to heal. If you need to boss, you need to boss. Your opponent plays Marnie, they play Marnie. It's one of those things where putting it to RNG might lead to a worse video experience. So again, I invite people to try out Metagross. I'm not necessarily sure how I feel about Metagross entering into the game. I think it is a very cool concept, and I think when you have players like Grant Manley and Cal Connor coming together and playing different kind of concepts and trying it out, it's either due to format boredom as we await Brilliant Stars coming out in a couple weeks, or it is one of those things where it's an undiscovered deck, and I think it's worthwhile to try some different decks. So as you kind of explore the rest of the Fusion Strike format, realize that Metagross is likely a threat, understand its weakness, its HP, what full face guard does. I hope that video helps to explain what's going on here, and maybe we'll see this deck pop into the top 10, top 20 for Monday's video, Tuesday's video. We'll have to see how that goes. That being said, if you do like this video, by all means give it a thumbs up. It does really help support for free. Let me know in the comments what type of videos you want to be seeing. If there's a video that you want me to do an update on, I do stick to competitive content. So if you're like, check out my I get a bunch of things where it's just like, check out my random grass deck or something like that. I love and appreciate the hustle of every single player, and I think every deck is really cool, but at the end of the day, I do try to cover the most competitive content, and Metagross isn't something that I necessarily thought was going to be competitive, but when you have players like Grant and Cal playing it, I think it's totally worthwhile to cover. That's why we're doing it today. So let me know in the comments what you think about this deck, what you want to be seeing in the channel in the future. Again, try to limit it to competitive content. You may be like, yo, Zach, you haven't covered single strike in a month. I want to see your updated list, want to see you play it. Let's go. That's something that's definitely right up my alley. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 9,500 subscribers. We're trying to get to 10,000, about 500 away. I know that we could do it together as a community. It'd be absolutely amazing if we kind of get to that milestone. For everything else, if you want to help support me as a content creator, you can go to PTCGO plug in code Lesage5 with Brilliant Stars coming out. It will really help support my content, and I do get a bit of a splashback when it comes to using my code, so it does really help me as a content creator make this a stable income. Also, you can go to metafy.gg/@ZachLesage. That link is in the description as well. If you're looking for some one-on-one coaching, I can definitely help you to get where you want, whether you're playing in online events and need a little bit of an extra hand, or if you are playing in real life regionals coming up and you're looking for some tips and tricks to really become the next best player, I could totally give you some of my skill set that I've acquired since playing Pokemon since 2005. For anything else, check out the description. There's a bunch of cool ways that you can support me: YouTube, Patreon, all that great stuff. Beyond that, I will be taking a bit of a I was about to say take a bit of a break. I'm going to take a bit of the break for the rest of the day and play Legends Arceus. I'll catch up with everyone for daily uploads. That's what we've been doing on the channel. Stop doing double uploads. We're on daily uploads right now. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I'll catch up with everyone later. Peace out and have a great one. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.